Good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you to the 10-day FDP, SDP, and STTP on Python for AI 2025. So this is the program that we are going to start today. So I'm proudly going to organize by Nextera Unitech. So myself, Akil, your host and trainer for this journey. I'm truly excited to have such a vibrant mix of faculty, students, professionals, and AI enthusiasts joining us across the world. Over the next 10 days, we will dive into Python not just as a programming language, but as a gateway to the world of data science, AI, and emerging technologies. Each session is designed to be a practical, beginner friendly, and impactful, whether you are just starting out to look to upskill. Let's make these sessions interactive and fun, guys. So, at the end, feel free to ask your questions. Apart from it, also take notes and most importantly, enjoy the learning process. Once again, thank you for joining. Let's get started. So, before we actually start, let me clear your doubt with respect to certification. So participants will be receiving a certificate by end of this program, upon the category. Say if you are from faculty, okay, so you'll be opting for FDP, Faculty Development Program. So this is designed for faculty members. And if you are a student, if you are still pursuing your graduation, you can opt for SDP, Student Development Program. Right? What if you are not faculty and student? Then you can opt it as short-term training program. So this will work in the case of working professionals and enthusiasts, whoever is part of this program. Okay, so once again, be clear on it. Faculty people have to opt for FDP. Students will be opting for SDP, and others, I mean, apart from faculty and students, whoever the working professionals are joining this particular sessions, you can opt for short-term training program, guys. Accordingly, you will be receiving the certificate. Right. So what exactly are we going to learn? What are we going to learn is we are going to learn Python from scratch. So all the core concepts, along with the core concepts, we are also going to cover two important modules called NumPy and Pandas. So we'll be understanding the introduction part. Okay, like from where does this Python have started? Okay, so we'll be going back to the 19th century and understand the history of Python. Okay, post understanding the history of Python, we'll be understanding the applications. Okay, the versions of Python, the design of Python, and then we'll be understanding the features, the key important features. What makes Python is standing in the top position because of these features, right? So we'll be understanding all the features of Python. Then I'll also help you in installation and setup. Okay, so we are supposed to install a software, guys. Okay, for the hands-on, I'll be helping you out, how we have to install the software, and the setup process will be kept clear. Next to it, I'll be discussing the multiple IDEs, integrated development environments. So we'll be understanding the different IDEs from which we'll be starting our core concepts. Like we'll be understanding variables, identifiers and all. Okay. Next to variables, identifiers, we'll be talking about data types. All the different data types we'll be understanding. Then post understanding data types, we'll also understand the operators in Python. Okay, there are multiple operators. Okay, so because of these operators, we are able to do some operations. We'll be understanding the operators, and next to operators, we'll be focusing on conditional statements. Okay, next to conditional statements, we'll be working on loops. So one by one, because why are we coming from scratch is we assume that people are joining from different positions, right? So we may have freshers, we may also have experienced people, we may have faculty. So this particular program is designed for all. Okay, so assuming keeping all of you in mind, we have designed this program in such a way that we'll be starting from scratch, understanding the basic concepts, and slowly and steadily we'll be learning topic by topic. Then we'll be understanding the loop control statements. There are few statements which help us to control the loops. So we'll be understanding them. Then next to loop control statements, we'll be talking about functions. Okay. So what are these functions? How do they help us? Okay. We'll be understanding the purpose of functions and different types of functions we have, followed by arguments and parameters. So different types of arguments, what are parameters, what is the purpose of arguments, okay? Then different types of arguments, all of them we are going to learn. And then we'll be talking about a type of function called lambda functions. Lambda functions, okay? So what are these lambda functions? How we have to define them, the syntaxes, each and every point we are going to learn, guys. Then comes two important packages, the modules, nothing but NumPy and Pandas. Okay, so our main focus will be on learning these two packages, NumPy and Pandas. What does that mean? Are we not going to learn the rest of? No, we will be learning all these till here. Okay, once after we be clear on our core concepts, we'll start learning NumPy and Pandas, two important packages in Python. Okay, so if you want to get a job in a field of Python, okay, it might be any field, any domain, okay, where you are using Python, for sure two mandatory packages that one should be aware of are NumPy and Pandas. So by end of this session, you will be learning all these concepts, guys. Not just learning them, we'll also ensure that the hands-on is being covered. The hands-on part. Okay, so we mainly focus on the hands-on, not just the theoretical part. We also focus on the hands-on. But what should be, done from your side? You should parallelly practice. When you practice the code for multiple times, when you type each and every single point, then you can memorize these concepts for a long time. So the only success mantra we have is practice, because this is a programming language. But one thing I can tell you is Python is very simple. What does that mean? It means when you take all the programming languages, comparatively Python is very simple. When? If you practice. So friends, you cannot just tell that, I can't even tell that, by end of these 10 days, are you going to get Python? I'll not tell that. The reason behind it is I'm going to cover all the core and fundamental concepts, but when you practice, yes, you can do it. You can do it, because we are not going to even miss a small topic, guys. Each and every single topic, if it is a fundamental one, yes, that will be covered as part of these sessions. I promise you on that. Right. So this is the agenda. And now let me start with the first topic. It is history of Python. Do you know who is the father of Python? When Python was officially launched in the market? So let us go back and talk about history of Python. So the reason behind Python programming language, okay, so a programming language has to be invented and that has to be very easy for the users. You know, that particular thought has come into the mind of Guido van Rossum. He is the father of Python, guys. Okay, so the implementation was begun in the year 1989, but Python was officially released in the market in Feb 1991. Okay, so our father of Python have invested good amount of time and successfully he was able to release the Python in the market in 1991. So who is this Guido van Rossum? He is a Dutch scientist. Okay, so he is actually from Netherlands. He developed Python in CWI. So this is actually an institute, okay, in Netherlands. And Python programming language was inspired by a language called ABC. Have you heard about ABC programming language? Just go and do surf. Okay, so there is a programming language called ABC, which is very simple. This is very simple in the sense the syntaxes will be very simple, guys. Okay, so even Python was created by taking an inspiration of ABC language, right? But why a programming language is named as a snake with a snake name? What made him to name his programming language with a snake name is it is not exactly snake name. There is something else. The story is completely different, guys. Python is actually a snake, but not keeping the snake in the mind, our father of Python have named his programming language with Python. No. Then what is the actual story? The story is around in 1960s and 1970s, there used to be, broadcasted a comedy series, a circus show in BBC. And it is nothing but Monty Python's Flying Circus. What is the name of the show? Monty Python's Flying Circus. It is a circus show. Okay. And this particular circus is very famous in those days. So even our father of Python have thought in the same way and he took the word Python and named his programming language with the name Python. That is how the name got originated. The name was originated from this particular story, guys. And I'll also walk you through the official site of Python after some time. Okay, so it's nothing but www.python.org. So this is the history of Python. Okay, now let us talk about the versions of Python. Python versions. So Python is actually contains 3 versions. It is Python 1.x, 2.x and 3.x. X can take all these values. That means, so Python when it was launched, it is actually from 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, so on, 1.6. Okay. So what makes the difference is there might be some updates. From version to version, there will be some updates. Okay. Then after 1x series, 2x series got launched. And in the same way, the current version that we are using is 3x version, guys. It is 3.x versions. What is the latest version? It is 3.13. It is not exactly 13. You should keep it as 3.13. The latest version that we are using in Python is 3.13. Okay, so you can get the complete information about the versions, the documentations, okay, the release histories, so on in the official site of Python, guys. One by one, we'll understand. Right. Next to Python versions, let us discuss about applications of Python. Why everyone is behind Python? Even a student who is studying 10th class or less than beyond 10th class, 8th, 9th standard students have started learning Python. Are you aware of it? If no, just do an inquiry, guys. Python students have started learning Python even. The reason behind it is you can build anything. Okay, any application can be built using Python. So that is why Python is standing in #1 position. What all applications can we build? You can build web applications. You can come up with some automation techniques, scripting, gaming applications, then especially AI applications. Okay, artificial intelligence applications, guys. You can come up with either machine learning application or a deep learning application. Okay, so as you know that AI is booming in the market, right? So you can come up with an AI application if you are aware of Python, because not just learning Python. This will not actually, if you learn AI, yes, probably you can learn statistics and algorithms, right? But for implementation at the end, you need Python. So that is why Python is used to build an application of AI. Either it can be machine learning or deep learning. Then embedded systems, IoT, Internet of Things. To build an IoT application, we need Python. For data analysis, in order to perform analysis on the data and to visualize the data, we need Python. We need Python. Then for cyber security, for hacking, you need Python. For coming up with blockchain technology, robotics, virtual reality, okay, and the recent chatbots that we are using, okay, whatever might be the chatbots and many, still it is counting. I have just listed down only a few applications here. There are n applications that we can build using Python. Okay, so that is where Python is standing in the top. And guys, it's your turn. You have to start learning Python. If you don't do so, yes, probably you are in danger, right? So start learning Python, because for each and every application in real time, we use Python. Even you can go and do any kind of research with respect to Google Trends. I don't know how many follow Google Trends. If you open Google Trends and do surf regarding Python programming, the language, just compare Python with other programming languages, you'll understand the importance of Python. So we are done with applications? Yes. Then next to the applications, let us talk about the Python's design. How Python was actually designed is, from different programming languages, different features were being taken and they were added to Python. From C programming language, functional programming has been taken. Our father of Python, what he have done is, he took programming, functional programming feature from C. In the same way, from C++, object-oriented programming feature was being taken. From Perl, scripting programming was being taken. Okay, then from Modular 3 language, modular programming and exceptional handling mechanisms were being taken and they were being added to the Python. From ABC, ABC is the programming language that we have discussed just now. Okay, so what are the features that we have took from ABC? Ease of use and simplicity, nothing but simple syntaxes is what you'll observe. Even when you go and start typing the code of Python, you'll observe the syntaxes, right? They'll be very simple. And from Java, garbage collector was being taken. So in short, Python is a mixture of all these different features. Okay, when you keep all these programming languages in a mixer, and if you take the end product, it is Python. So these are nothing but the ingredients that we have took. And what is the end product? It is Python. Okay, so you have, the Python has multiple features. So let us understand these features one by one. Okay, if you understand the features, then you'll understand Python to the depth. So let us focus on these features, guys. What exactly you mean by features? What do you mean by features? Features are nothing but qualities. Yes. When you talk about a product, obviously you have to talk about the features of the product, the qualities of the product, right? So in the same way, what are the qualities of Python? What are the qualities of Python? What are the characteristics of Python? Is Python is simple. How do you say Python is simple? I'll justify my answer. Okay, I'm going to justify my answer, guys. Python is simple. Then Python is platform independent language. What do you mean by platform independent? You'll understand. Hold on. Then Python is dynamically typed language. Okay. Python is an interpreted language. Fine. Python is a high-level programming language. Python is a robust programming language. Python is freeware and open source. Python is extensible. Python is embedded. Python supports both functional and object-oriented programming. And Python also supports third-party APIs. So these are the special qualities, the special features of Python. And because of these features, Python is very powerful. In short, it is very powerful. So let us understand all these qualities, the characteristics one by one. Okay, slowly and steadily. What is the first one? Simple. How do you say Python is simple? I say Python is simple because of three main reasons. I take three factors into the consideration. They are rich set of modules, automatic memory management, user-friendly syntax. By taking these three factors, I say Python is simple, guys. Okay, let us understand the three factors. The first one says rich set of modules. First of all, what is a module? Module means collection of functions, variables, and classes. Again, the question raises, what is a function? What is a variable? What is a class? Hold on. Hold on, guys. We'll be understanding all the topics one by one. What is a function? What is a variable? What is a class? We'll be understanding. Okay. But for time being, you have to memorize that. What is a module? Module is nothing but collection of functions, variables, and classes. Right? Now, let us go back. We have very rich set of modules in Python. Some of the modules that we have, the built-in modules that we have are random module, math module, OS, operating system module. Okay. So because of these very rich set of modules, I say Python is simple. How? Because they help us to reuse the code. Okay. We need not write the code from scratch. This is not required. Instead of keeping our code from scratch, we'll come up with we'll use any of this module. Within the module, if we have a function, it helps us to reuse the code. I'm able to use the code again for multiple times. Then the second one, automatic memory management. So we have understood garbage collector concept was being taken from Java. So this garbage collector, it ensures that it cleans up the unused memory. So within the main memory, okay, if there is any unused memory at this particular location, if only a certain portion of memory is being used, and if this memory is not used, okay, this unused memory gets cleaned up by whom? The garbage collector. So we know that there is always a trade-off between performance versus memory space. So if you take your mobile, okay, within the mobile, if you have more memory space, obviously the performance of the mobile will be very high. Okay, when this memory space gets consumed, okay, when you are trying to keep more files, more documents in your mobile, what happens? Will the same performance be met? No. The performance gradually comes down. In the same way, because of this garbage collector, which helps us to clean up the unused memory, it is actually boosting the performance of our execution. Okay, so that is done by the garbage collector. And coming to the syntaxes, you'll understand, right? They are very easy to read and write, guys. Very easy to read, and the syntaxes that you'll be observing are beginner friendly syntaxes. Okay, even a person who doesn't know a programming language, still they can understand the code. They are able to type the code, the script. Okay, so that is the purpose of, no, that is why I say Python is simple. By keeping all these three factors in mind, I say Python is simple. Yes. Even if you come from a different domain, either a non-CS, non-IT background, guys, don't be afraid of Python is a programming language. No. Even though if it is a programming language, I'm telling you, right, it is very easy. It is very simple. When if you do enough practice. If you do enough practice, yes, you can type the code on your own. The logic can be built, guys. Okay, so building logic comes through practice because the concepts and all are very easy, right? Let us go to the next feature of Python. It is platform independent language. So what exactly is platform independent? First of all, what is platform? Platform is actually referring to OS. What is OS? OS is nothing but operating system, guys. Operating system. What is the purpose of operating system? This operating system helps us to run an application, a project or program, whatever it might be. See, when you are executing your program, you need an OS. I'm using Windows. Okay, we have different operating systems. Can you all name some of the operating systems that we have? And I want everyone to interact with me across these 10 days. Windows, Linux, and Mac. Right? So there are multiple operating systems. Yes. So what is an operating system? Operating system is nothing but a software. It is a software, okay, where it acts as a resource allocation manager. Okay, so it acts as a manager which helps us to allocate the resource, as well as it also acts as a resource deallocation manager. Okay, so we have, when I want to execute a program, for sure there should be a resource. Only then my program gets executed. Post executing the program, it has to deallocate the resource. So this task will be done by operating system, guys. This task will be done by operating system. And programming languages can be either platform dependent or platform independent. That is nothing but operating system dependent or operating system independent. Okay. So what is the difference between platform dependent languages and platform independent languages? Let us understand the difference. Platform dependent languages are the languages in which the data types, okay, whatever the different data types that we have, may not have the same size. Okay, they may not have the same size across different operating systems. Examples: C programming language, C++ programming language, so on. But if you take a platform independent language, these data types, whatever the data types that we are using as part of our program, okay, the memory space remains same across all types of OS. You take any type of OS, Windows, Linux, Mac, okay, etc. Across these different types of operating system, the data type, if I take one data type like int, we know that int actually helps us to store single value, integers, integer values, numbers, right? So the memory space for storing an integer remains same across all these different operating systems. Such kind of programming languages are called platform independent. They are not depending on the platform, whatever might be the platform, you know, the memory space remains same. They are independent of it. The best given examples are Python programming. Even Java is also a Python, platform independent language. I hope it is clear. So when someone asks you why Python is a platform independent language, you should be able to explain the difference. What makes the difference between platform dependent and platform independent language? Okay, right. So let us go to the next feature of Python, and it is dynamically typed language. What is dynamically typed language? Let us understand it. But before understanding dynamically typed language, we should be aware that programming languages are of two types. What are they? Static typed programming language and dynamically typed programming language. I repeat, static typed and dynamic typed. What is the difference between static typed and dynamic typed? Let us understand. So guys, if you are aware of C or C++ or Java, you'll understand the difference well. Okay, you'll understand the difference between static typed and dynamically typed programming language if you are aware of any of these languages. The reason why am I telling you is, in static typed programming language, the end user, the programmer, has to declare the type, has to specify the variable type. So the data type and the identifier has to be declared by the programmer, the end user. Whoever is going to keep the code has to declare this type data type and the identifier in static typed programming language. What if the data type was not mentioned? If the data type was not mentioned, we'll get compile time errors. We'll get compile time errors. The examples C, C++, Java, .NET, all of these are static typed programming languages. Okay, if I want to store a value like 5, okay, if I want to store a value like 5 using C, what is 5? 5 is an integer? Yes, you have to keep it as int A. Okay, that means inside A, we are going to store an integer, is what we are telling upfront, the type. Then only we have to keep it as A is equals to 5. Okay, so this is called statically typed programming languages. But in case of dynamically typed programming language, the users need not declare the type, not required. Examples, Python. If I want to store the same 5 in A, I'll directly keep it as A is equals to 5. Job done. Job done, guys. Okay, so in this way, you can clearly differentiate the differences between static typed programming language and dynamically typed programming language. Okay, so Python is a dynamically typed programming language. Then, the next feature of Python is interpreted language. Python is interpreted language. What is an interpreted language? Interpreted language is nothing but line by line execution will be done, guys. Okay. So when you run a script in Python, okay, assume there are 5 lines. So the execution will be done line by line. That is what it is called as interpreted programming language. But within the Python program, the execution occurs in 2 processes. Internally, there are 2 processes as part of the execution. The first one is compilation process. And the second one is execution process. So what happens in compilation and what happens in execution? Let us understand. In compilation, okay, so whatever the source code, so in general, we keep the Python source codes in the form of .py. It represents a Python file. It represents a Python script. So this .py file code will be compiled line by line by the Python compiler, and this will be converted to bytecodes. A .py file will be converted to .pyc. See, sum.py is my Python script which got converted to sum.pyc. What does pyc represents? It represents bytecodes. Okay, so this is the part of compilation process. Then post compilation, the execution happens. There comes PVM. What is PVM? Python virtual machine. Okay, it's a virtual machine which helps us to complete this execution process. It takes the bytecode, the .pyc file, it reads line by line. Each line by line will be understood as part of this .pyc code, and this bytecode gets converted to zeros and ones. Zeros and ones. What are these zeros and ones? Nothing but binary format. Why it has to be converted to binary format? Because we know that computers are nothing but machines. Machine understandable language is binary format, binary language. So this PVM converts this .pyc into machine understandable language. It is binary language, zeros and ones. Post converting into zeros and ones, the execution happens and then it gives the results. So this is what happens in the backend. The entire process, the execution happens in the backend. So we will be just executing the .py file. But if you want to give a try, yes, you can also go and look out for this .pyc. This .pyc file, the bytecode file will be available within your system. Within your machine, you can also get this .pyc file. Okay, not just executing line by line, guys. See, if you have a .py file, only if you execute this entire file, when you execute this entire file together, okay, then it converts to bytecode. Don't assume within this .py file if there are 1,000 lines. Okay, if there are 1,000 lines within this .py file, and if you are executing line by line. Okay, for these lines you will not get this .pyc. No, when you execute this entire file together, then the intermediate file gets generated. It is called as bytecode. The reason why it is generating this bytecode is for making the execution very fast. But how come the execution will be fast? I'll tell you. Initially, when you are executing for the first time, it may take good amount of time, right? Because .pyc will be converted to .pyc. .py gets converted to .pyc. Then this .pyc will also be, converted into zeros and ones by PVM, and you'll get the result. Fine. So this .py file, when you are going to execute for the next time, instead of working on this directly, we already have this .pyc, right? So PVM takes this, understands this .pyc file immediately, it converts into zeros and ones, it gives the result back immediately. This process will not happen for the next time because already I have the bytecode file available, right? So that is the purpose of, the compilation process. Only for the first time. Again, when you do changes in this .py file, this will no longer be used because you have already done the changes, right? When you do changes, again the same process gets executed. Okay, so Python is an interpreted programming language. Why? Even if you take the compilation or execution, both happens line by line. Both happens line by line. In this way, if there are 10,000 lines, the same process will be executed. In the same way, it executes all the 10,000 lines. That is why Python is called as interpreted programming language. I hope it is clear. So even when you are explaining why Python is interpreted programming language, not just telling line by line execution makes Python interpreted language. Instead of just keeping this word, if you explain this entire process, just think of to the depth. Okay, if you are learning any concept to the depth, for sure you will be memorizing them because you are investing time, right? When you put some efforts, for sure you will be memorizing the concept for a long time. So our aim of this program is to deliver our content in that fashion. Okay, we'll be taking you to the depth of each and every concept, guys. Right? Let us talk about the next feature of Python. Python is freeware and it is also open source. So what is the meaning for freeware and what is open source? Let us understand freeware and open source. You take a programming language, any programming language, It is considered as freeware when it is freely downloadable and used without even a single rupee, without investing even a rupee, a penny. Okay, if you are able to use it, download it and use it, then it is called freeware programming language. Examples: Python. Python is freeware. You need not pay even a single penny, guys. Not required. Okay, you can download it freely and you can use it. Then, what is open source programming language? What does open source means? Open source refers to, the software, whatever the software that you have, okay, if you are able to keep this available for all the people, from customizing it according to the requirements, then you see a programming language is open source. First of all, what is that software that we are referring to? Let us discuss about it. The Python software has a standard name. It is called as C Python. It is called as C Python. And this software can be customized according to the end user requirement. And these customized version of Pythons are called Python distributions. These customized versions are called Python distributions. Here are some of the distributions, guys. JPython, Iron Python, MicroPython. There are multiple. Let us understand what is this JPython, Iron Python, MicroPython, so on. For running Java-based applications. Okay, so this software has been customized and the distribution is called JPython or Zython. Then for running .NET based applications, again, the software got customized and it is called Iron Python or IPython. In the same way, if I have to develop a microcontroller applications, you can use MicroPython. The customized version of C Python to develop microcontroller applications is MicroPython. In this way, there are multiple Python distributions. So because of these, okay, the software is able to be customized according to the people's requirement. Okay, so that is why Python is called open source. Okay, why it is called as open source? Here is the complete information. Making sense? Yes. The next feature is Python is a high-level programming language. Python is a high-level programming language. But what is a high-level programming language? So in order to discuss about high-level programming language, in general, programming languages are again classified into two types. One is low-level programming language and the other one is high-level programming language. So what is low-level programming language means? The languages which are, which machines can understand. Okay, which we keep the script in the form of zeros and ones, binary, octal, hexadecimal systems. Such kind of programming languages are low-level programming languages. And these systems, whatever we have discussed, binary, octal, hexadecimal, end users, humans like us, cannot understand them easily, guys. We cannot understand them. Okay. Assembly language and machine language are low-level programming languages. Probably if you go back to your school days and in our computer subject, during our school days, we have a subject called computer. Yes. So this computer, within the computer, probably you may have learned about assembly language, machine language. So these programming languages are low level. Why? They use different format systems like binary format system in which you'll have the numbers only zeros and ones. Octal format system where you'll have the numbers from 0 till 7. Decimal, hexadecimal, where the numbers will be from 0 to 9. Then A to E. Sorry, F. A to F, right? Yes. So in this way, we'll have the numbers. Okay. If you have the numbers in these formats, we humans cannot interpret them. Okay. So that is the disadvantage of using low level programming language. But Python is a high level programming language. Okay. So it allows the users, the programmers, to keep the code, the script in human readable syntaxes. Okay, later on you'll be understanding. Whatever the script that I'm going to type, I'm going to explain, you guys will be able to read it, understand it. So these programming languages are called high-level programming languages. Making sense? Yes. Then Python is extensible. Why Python is extensible? Okay, let me keep it here. The module services that we have discussed earlier, we discussed that Python has a rich set of modules. Yes, Python has a rich set of modules. Okay, so these module services can be, taken to other programming languages also. To other language programmers, we are able to use it for writing less code. So that is why Python is extensible. The services that we have within the Python can be provided for other language programmers. Then Python is embedded. How do you say Python is embedded? In the sense, Python is called an embedded language because we are able to use and include the code, okay, of Python in other programming languages. If you take other languages like C, C++, Java, .NET, so on, within these programming languages, I can include my Python code base. Okay. Then Python is robust. The robust feature that we have given for Python is because of a feature called exceptional handling. What is the purpose of exceptional handling? They handle the exceptions. What are exceptions? Exceptions, they are nothing but errors. Exception refers to errors. So because of this feature called exceptional handling, Python is able to handle exceptions. Okay. So Python based applications become very strong. They are robust. And Python also supports third-party APIs. We have multiple third-party libraries, APIs. Okay. So because of this, the capabilities are being extended. Okay. So what are these third-party APIs that we have, the libraries and all? Let us discuss them. Then I'll walk you through Python official site. So the popular third-party libraries that we have in Python are NumPy, the first and the foremost library. It is NumPy. What is the purpose of NumPy? NumPy helps us for mathematical operations, for solving, the complex mathematical operations. Then handling arrays. Okay, what is an array? We'll understand. Then pandas For data manipulation, for data analysis, we use pandas. Then regex. Regex is again a popular library within Python. It's a third party library from Python which helps us for pattern matching, text manipulation. Okay, SciPy for scientific calculations. Scikit-learn for ML applications. See, whenever I want to build an ML application, I have to use functions that are related to machine learning. These functions are present in scikit-learn, scientific kit learn. TensorFlow or Keras for building deep learning models, DL. Here it is ML and TensorFlow is representing the DL functions. Then Matplotlib and Seaborn for visualizing the data. Whenever I want to visualize the data, I'll use either Matplotlib or Seaborn. And finally, NLTK, Natural Language Toolkit. Okay, so this is for NLP task, guys. So I hope all of you are using ChatGPT, right? Google Gemini, Microsoft Copilot. So all of these, they use the basics, the concepts of NLP, natural language processing. Okay, so the natural language that we give has to be processed, right? So for working with NLP related tasks, we use a library called NLTK, Natural Language Toolkit. Yes, obviously. So these are the important third-party libraries, but still there are multiple. There are n number of third-party libraries, huge. And out of these, as part of this 10 days, we are going to learn NumPy and Pandas to the core. Okay, so don't miss the sessions, be active and do respond to my questions as well. Okay, so as part of this journey, you have to be interacting. You should be interacting with me, guys. So I'll quickly walk you through Python site. So open a browser and you just keep it as www.python.org. Just give me a minute. So keep it as www.python.org. So when you type this and if you click on enter, it will redirect you to the official site of Python. So this is the official site of Python. Okay, so you can get the complete information, guys. So about Python, okay, then the downloads, all the downloads, the versions related information, you'll have it under the download section. Documentations. If you have any questions related to Python, I would suggest you to go through the documentations. Instead of referring any other third-party sites, my suggestion will be go and refer to the official documentation available in Python site. Then the community. Okay, so Python also has a community where you can discuss with the other folks. Okay, then the success stories. You also have the success stories, the news related to the Python and the events. So if there are any launch events and all, probably you might have under the event section. So if you just scroll down, you see here, you have the latest news, upcoming events were being posted. Okay. Then are there any jobs, docs, download sections? Okay. So if you are a beginner, yes, you have a beginner's guide. If you click on it, probably it will allow you to, make the learning journey very easy. So just follow it, guys. So here are many things to explore, and it's upon you, your time. How much time you're going to invest? Whenever you're free, just go through the site. See, if I click on downloads, I'll get the release history. Okay, we have discussed 3.13 is the latest version of Python. Yes. So when it was released in 24 October 7th. Okay, 2024 October 7th, 3.13 got released. So the support for this particular version was also mentioned. And the new version of Python is going to launch when? This year. On 1st of October. Okay. So that is the tentative date that they have given here. It is about to release. So in this way, you can just go through the site. Okay. So if you are using any other version of Python, you can also go and download that specific version. Okay. According to your requirement, you can do it, guys. Okay. So this is the official site of Python. Now, coming to our case, so are we going to use Python IDLE? Not exactly. Because I don't suggest using Python IDLE because not because of its background, the color and all. We are going to use an IDE of Python. It is Spyder. What it is? Spyder. So in order to use Spyder, there are again two ways. One way is downloading Spyder alone, Spyder software alone. If not, you can download Anaconda Navigator. So open a browser and search for Anaconda Navigator. Then click on enter, guys. Click on enter. So if you see the first link, okay. So if you click on it, Anaconda is again a community. So this is a community for data science. Okay. Where it helps us to give us a bunch of IDs. Okay. A bunch of IDs will be provided, and accordingly, you can choose the ID that you want to work with. Right. So once after clicking on the first link, instead of keeping on the products, if you see here, the download now option, if you click on it, so it will ask you to provide your mail address and all. It is not required. You can just click on skip registration. Skip registration, then scroll down. Don't click on these download options. This is for distribution installers and Miniconda installers. This is not required. Okay. So I hope the UI has been changed. Fine. So according to your, operating system, if you are using Windows operating system, so this is the link. If you click on this particular link, immediately a .exe file will be downloaded and you can complete your installation process. What if you are using Mac? Okay, in Mac you'll have different bit. Yes. So accordingly, whatever might be your processor, so choose the relevant .exe file has to be downloaded. Okay. Before clicking on these links, ensure what is your processor. Go and check your processor, then download it, guys. And finally for Linux. Okay. Only for Windows you see only one link. If I click on it, immediately a .exe file will get downloaded of 914 MB. So almost it's 1 GB, right? So I already have it. I'll not download it, but I'm showing you why am I showing the entire journey is if you want to use Spyder, like how I'm going to use probably in the next coming 10 minutes. Okay. So you have to follow the same process. Post downloading it, When you launch Anaconda Navigator, you'll find the home page. The user interface will be in this fashion, guys. So what are these? You'll find different IDEs. Jupyter Notebook. So this is one of the IDE. Then PyCharm, one of the IDE. Spider. This is what I'm asking you to work on. Initially, if you are a beginner, my suggestion will be Spider. Okay. So why Spider and all we'll discuss. Then in the same way, there are multiple, even R is also available. Okay. So whatever the IDE that you want to work on, you better go and click on that launch button. It will launch that specific IDE. That particular IDE gets launched, right? So let me open Spider. Anyways, I have also opened Spider. So this is how the user interface of Spider be like. The user interface of Spider is in this fashion. So whatever you see here, let me, yes. So this area is where we keep our script. So this is called scripting pane. Okay, we keep our script. The code, the lines of code will be, kept in this region. Then this is called console, where we get the output. So when you execute a line, you should see output. Yes. So this is the place where you will see the output. And to the top of console, you will find different tabs. Help tab, Variable Explorer tab, Plots tab, okay, then Files. So all these are different panes, okay, Scripting pane, Help pane, Variable Explorer pane, Plots pane, Files pane, okay. So whatever the variables that we are going to use, you will find it under the Variable Explorer pane, and within the help pane you will go through it helps us to go through the documentations. Okay, you can go through the documentations of any of the functions or packages. Then within the plots pane you can visualize. You'll get the visualizations, guys. The visuals will be stored in the plots pane, and the files pane will contain your in local machine files. Okay, so these are some of the important panes that one should be aware of. And on the top, if you observe, we have multiple icons. So for time being, you should be aware of the first 5. Okay, so this one is for opening a new file. If I want to open a new .py file, I'll use the first icon. This is for opening a new .py file. What about the second one? This is for opening a saved file. If I already have a saved file .py with the format .py, the extension .py, I can open it using the second icon. The third icon is for saving the .py file, and the fourth icon is for saving all the files, and the fifth one is for executing the file, the entire file together. Okay, even if there are 10,000 lines, if you click on this arrow mark pointing right side, this will actually help us to run the entire file, guys. And this icon where you see like I with a arrow mark pointing towards right side. So this is for executing a single line. If I want to execute a single line or 2-3 lines, that means a selection of lines. Okay, so that can be done using this icon. So these are the important icons that you have to be aware of. Only if you are aware of these icons, you can start, typing your code in the scripting pane and executing them. When you execute, you'll get the output here. Okay, so let me quickly, let us, quickly explore once again. If you just hover your mouse, you'll get the, see guys. If you hover your mouse, you should get the options. So let me do one thing. See, a new file got opened, .py file. In the same way, if I click on this will allow me to open a file. See, the third one is for saving it. I have opened it, right? Which was not saved. So the third icon is for help. It helps us for saving a single file, the current file. The fourth icon is for saving all the files. If I have 10 files, 10 .py files are open. Okay. Instead of saving one by one, I can just click on the fourth option, fourth icon, which helps me to save all the files at a time. And this one is for, see, if I want to execute this, okay, so a single line or a selection of lines can be executed by clicking on this icon. When I click on this icon, it helps me to run the file, run the lines of code. Anyways, I'm closing it, guys. I hope it is clear. Okay, so, and I also hope you guys will do hands-on in Spider, because if you are actually a beginner, my suggestion will be Spider, guys. Or if you have good amount of knowledge, okay, say if you are familiar with Python code, Python programming, then you can use any IDE that you are good in. Okay. Right. So let us understand the first topic, because we are done with the fundamental topics. In a sense, we have understood the history of Python. Okay. We understood the applications, then the versions of Python, as well as the features of Python. Now, let me start with the very fundamental topic. It is literals in Python. What is it? Literals. What are these literals? Literals are nothing but values. What are literals? Values. Okay. So within the program, we give some inputs as values. Yes. So these values are nothing but literals. Isn't it? Yes. The values are nothing but literals. In general, we have four types of literals. They are integer literals, float literals, then string literals, and Boolean literals. Examples. See, if I pass a value like 5, okay, if I want to store a value 5, what is 5? 5 is a number, it's an integer. So it will be a part of integer literal. Okay, then in the same way we'll have float literals. Numbers with decimal values will become float. They will be examples for float literals, string literals, and Boolean literals. Okay, so in short, what are literals? Literals are nothing but values. But in order to store these values, or in order to represent these literals, we should have some objects, guys. Am I right? Yes. Obviously, in order to store a value, what is the value? Literal. So in order to store a literal, or in order to represent a literal, you need objects. Yes, we need objects. What are these objects in Python? The objects in Python are nothing but variables and identifiers. What are they? They are variables and identifiers. So let us understand what are these variables, identifiers. So the literals, when you want to store them in the main memory, you need some objects. You need some objects to represent these values, right? Yes. We come up with some names, and these names help us to identify the values. Okay. See, if I have a value like 5, and if I want to store 5, I should obviously have an object, right? So I'll use the name for the object. I'll keep it as A. A is my object. Okay. So A is the name of the object which helps us to identify the value, which helps us to store the value. So A becomes an identifier. What is A here? A becomes an identifier. Why? The purpose of identifiers is they help us to identify the values, represent the values, right? And the values for these identifiers might be changing, yes. Might be varying, yes. So across the program, okay, the value for A, will it be 5? Will it be fixed? No. It might be changing, it might vary. So that is why identifiers are called variables. That is why identifiers are called variables. See, if you understand this, you'll understand the difference between variables and identifiers, guys. Variables are identifiers. Okay, variables are identifiers whose values, that means whatever the values that the variables take, might change during the execution of program. So in this example, what is A? A is a variable. A is a variable. But are you sure that the value for A will be 5 every time across the program? No. It might change. It might reduce. It might go beyond 5. So I cannot just tell that the value for A will be fixed. It might vary. It might change. Right? So that is why A becomes a variable. All variables are identifiers. All the variables are identifiers. But not all identifiers are variables. What are identifiers? Identifiers are names. Names which helps us to identify the values. Okay. Then what can you also give some examples for identifiers? Yes, I can. See, if you have a function name, even a function should have a name. Right? So that function name is also an identifier because it is helping us to identify. Right? It is helping us to identify that it is a function. But what it is exactly, it is an identifier. So this is very important, guys. All the variables are identifiers because they help us to identify the values. They help us to represent the values. I hope it is making sense. Okay. So all the types of values or the literals can be stored in the main memory. In the main memory, you are able to store these values. Say if I want to store the value 5. Okay. How can I do it? You should use an object, guys. You should, for sure, there should be an object for representing this value. For representing this literal, we should have an object. And that object is variable or identifier. I hope you got the difference between variable and identifier. Okay. Now, in Python, in order to define the variables, okay, there are some ground rules. There are some rules for defining, for using these variables. What are the rules that we have in Python? We'll understand. In total, there are 6 different rules. The first rule says variable name can be a combination of alphabets. Alphabets in the sense they can be lower and uppercase. How many alphabets do we have in English language? 26. Yes. So 26 plus 26. So that means I can use a combination of alphabets, digits. How many digits? 10 digits, 0 to 9. So I can use any digit. And only special symbol underscore. Okay. So a variable name can be a combination of alphabets in which it contains lower and uppercase elements, characters. Then it can also have digits, but only special symbol is allowed is underscore. Okay. Then the second rule says a variable should always start with either alphabet or underscore case. So what does that mean? It means a variable cannot start with a digit. Okay, so these ground rules has to be obeyed. When you don't obey these ground rules, when you are against these ground rules, you will get errors. You will encounter errors, exceptions. Then the third ground rule says within the variable, special symbols are not allowed. We cannot use any special symbols except underscore. Apart from underscore, you cannot use any other special symbol. Fine. These variables in Python are case sensitive. Not only the variables, Python itself is case sensitive. What do you mean by case sensitive, guys? Any idea? Case sensitive means A which is in lower case and A which is in upper case. Both are not seen. Okay. When you refer any value using small a, and if you are trying to use it, call it using capital A, you will encounter exception. Python being case sensitive, the same case has to be used. Okay, so here A and capital A and small a refer to two different variables. They are two different alphabets in Python. Then we also have keywords. We also have keywords in Python, and these keywords are nothing but reserved words in Python. Okay, these reserved words or keywords cannot be used as variable names. We cannot use the reserved words, the keywords as the variable names. Why? The reason behind it is these keywords have a specific meaning. They do have a meaning to the language compiler. So that is the reason why, the keywords cannot be used as variable names. And all these variable names, when you are defining any variable name, it is always recommended to go with user-friendly names, guys. It is always recommended to go with user-friendly names. Right? So these are some of the ground rules that we have in Python. So I'll start with each and every ground rule. We'll come up with some examples. Let us take some examples. Okay. And we'll understand each and every ground rule. So for that, I'll go back to Spider. Then, so we have the ground rule and examples. Okay. Right. So what is the first ground rule? The ground rule says a variable name is a combination of alphabets, digits, and underscore symbol. Yes, it can be a combination. That doesn't mean we should have all the three. Okay? Right. A is equals to 1. So what exactly am I doing is, I am storing a value 1. So 1 becomes my, what does 1 become? 1 is literal, integer literal. Okay. So I'm going to store a value 1 using a variable a. Okay. So let me keep it here. I'm storing 1 using a variable a. So is equals to is an assignment operator which helps us to, again, what is an assignment operator? We'll be understanding, guys. That's not an issue. Focus. So I'm going to store 1 in a. Okay, I'm going to represent 1 with a. What does a become? A becomes variable. 1 becomes literal. So is it obeying the rules? The ground rules? Yes. Yes, it is. See, if you observe, I just had only a character, an alphabet, A. Can I have only an alphabet? Yes. Yes. So will line number 21 execute? Yes, it will execute. It will execute. See, what am I going to do? I'll just keep my cursor on line number 21. Then I'll go and hit on this icon. If I click on this icon, immediately the line get executed and you'll observe the variable part of variable explorer. Variable A, you observe it in variable explorer. Yes. So what is the name of the variable? It is A. Okay. What is the value that we have in A? 1. What is this type representing? The type represents data type, guys. Okay. The type represents data type. What type of value we are trying to store in A is what you'll understand here. It is an int value. Int type value is what we have stored. And the size will obviously become 1 because we are storing only one value, right? The size will be 1. I hope it is clear. So in this way, you'll find all the variables part of the variable explorer. Okay. So within the code, if you get say 100 variables, you can understand, you can go through these variables one by one. So this is an advantage of using Spider. Because if you go to any other IDE, you'll not observe the same UI. The user interface will change and the options, the features that you'll have from IDE to IDE will keep on changing. They will change. Okay. So this specific variable explorer pane is present only in Spider. But one more thing, guys. I'll keep it very clear here. In industry, no one uses Spider. Okay. If you come, after completing a graduation or when you are looking out for jobs related to Python, okay, you will observe that no one uses an IDE called Spider. No. So again, don't scold me. Upfront, I'm keeping it very clear. For practicing only, you have to be familiar with Spider. Once if you get good confidence, then immediately shift the IDE. You can choose Jupyter Notebook or Visual Studio or PyCharm. There are multiple IDs. Okay. So once if you get the confidence, immediately switch the gear. That is what you have to do. Right? Yes. Then the next example, ABC is equals to 10. Will it execute, guys? I want everyone to respond from here onwards. Be active. Okay. So what am I going to do? I'm going to store 10, a value 10 in a variable ABC. Will it execute or not? Can I have ABC as a variable? Yes, I can. Right? I can have. I'm not against the ground rules because I can have multiple alphabets. Don't assume that we have three alphabets. You can also have all the 26 alphabets. Right? The only thing is you should not be against the ground rules. Yes, we can have ABC as our variable name. So I'll just keep my cursor on line number 23. I'll execute this line. Yes, ABC is equals to 10 got executed. The value that got stored in ABC is 10. Okay, what kind of value it is? It's an int type value and the size is 1. Right? Good. Then the next one, the next example, x1 is equals to 5. Come on guys, will it execute or not? Line number 25. Yes, 25 will execute. Line number 25 will execute. What do we have? Within the variable, we have a combination of alphabet and we also have a digit. So can we have a combination? Yes. A variable name can have a combination of digits and alphabets and special symbol underscore. That's it. Okay. So x1 is equals to 5 will execute. See. Done. I stored 5 in x1. The next one. Next example. NEUT. NEUT is equals to 100. NEUT is equals to 100. Will this execute? Yes, it will execute. Even though if I have the characters in uppercase, still I'm not against the rules. Right? I can have the characters, the alphabets in uppercase as well. So NEUT is equals to 100 will execute. So why it is not displaying it here is I have changed the settings. You see now? So I have just changed the settings of Spider. That is why it has restricted the uppercase elements, the uppercase variables. Now you see the variables. I mean the variable NUT in uppercase. Done. Then next to it, we have one more variable. Will line number 29 execute or not? And guys, it will be great. It will be appreciated if you also respond by keeping the line number. Your answer along with the line number, if you are able to do it, that will be well appreciated. Line number 29. Yes, it will execute. I can have characters, alphabets, digits. Sorry. Then I can have again alphabets. This will execute. This will execute. Done. But if you see, as I have stored 23.5 decimal values. So immediately the type got changed. It is float type value. So that is why you see the type for PQ567 RST. For this variable, the type is float. It's not int. Then let us go to the next ground rule. What does the second ground rule see? The variable must start with either alphabet or underscore. So tell me, will line number 33 execute or not? Where I'm trying to keep my variable, okay, I'm starting my variable with digits 1, 2, ABC. Will it execute or not? Come on, guys. Line number 33 will not execute. Why? Why line number 33 will not execute? Because I have started my variable with digits. I have started my variable with digits. Even Python, I mean Spider, is giving me a warning. You see the cross mark? It says invalid syntax. When I just hover my mouse on this cross mark, it says invalid syntax. But still, let me execute. I just want to experiment. Yes, it says invalid syntax. Why it is throwing us an exception? The reason behind this exception is I have defined my variable, starting with a digit, which is not accepted. Good. Good going. Then, line number 35. ABC is equals to 20. Come on, guys. Will this execute? Line number 35. Yes, it will execute. So ABC, you're not against the rules. So all all of them are alphabets. Within the variable, we have only alphabets and the value that we have stored is 20. Done. Then ABC is equals to 123, 123. 123. ABC is equals to 123. Will it execute? Yes, it will execute. But instead of 20, the value that you will observe is 123 because the same variable, the value gets updated if you see. So that is why we have discussed an identifier is called a variable because the value for it may change. Okay, the value might vary across the program. If you see here, initially it is 20, but later on the value got changed to 123. So why an identifier is called as a variable? Because the values might change. The values can change. They can vary. So that is why they are called as variables. Then line number 39. Line number 39. A123 is equals to 34. Is this accepted? Yes, it is accepted because I am starting my variable with an alphabet followed by digits. So which is exactly, we are not against the ground rules. So this is accepted. When this is accepted, it has to execute. So A123 stores 34. A123 stores 34. Come on, guys. Line number 41. Line number 41. Will it execute or not? Yes, 41 will also execute. Don't assume that the variable name is not started with an alphabet. Even though if the variable name starts with underscore, see, even though if it starts with underscore, it is accepted. So underscore ABC is equals to 34. So this will also execute. 41 will also get executed. If you are unable to see it, you have to change the settings. You have to uncheck this exclude private variables. Now, if you scroll down, you will find the variable underscore ABC is equals to 34. The name of the variable is underscore ABC. The type is int. Value is 34 and the size is 1. Good. 43. 43 guys. Underscore SAL underscore is equals to 2.3. Will this get executed? Yes, it will also execute because I'm just using only underscore symbol. I'm not going with any other special characters. So this will also get executed. I have to scroll down and probably you'll see the variable here. Underscore SAL underscore is the name of my variable which stores 2.3 the value and the type is float. Then 45. 45. Everyone has to respond. Don't sit idle. Yes, 45 will also execute. Underscore 123. See, even though if I'm starting with underscore, next to underscore I can have digits. Yes, accepted. So underscore 123 is equals to 2.3. Will return, will execute, and you'll observe the, variable here. Underscore 123 and the value is 2.3 guys. 2.3. 47. What about line number 47? Yes. 47 will also execute. Okay. Even though if I have just only underscore, still it will execute. Yes. See. Underscore is the name of my variable and the value is 23. It is storing 23. So these are a few examples for ground rule 2. Let us move to the ground rule 3. What does ground rule 3 says? Within the variable name, special symbols are not allowed except underscore. Apart from underscore, you cannot use any other special characters. But what am I trying to use here? I'm using space. Is space is also considered as special character? Yes. Yes. Guys, you cannot tell this one. This is not the space that I'm referring to. I'm referring to the space that is between total and salary. So I'm trying to use total salary as a variable name with space between the words, which is considered as a special symbol. So will line number 51 execute? 51 will not execute. Good. Why? Because of the space. So when you try to execute line number 51, you'll get invalid syntax. Invalid syntax. Why? No other special characters apart from underscore will be allowed. Then 53. 53 guys. Will line number 53 work out? Responses. 53 will not work out. Why? We have dollar symbol. We have dollar symbol. Okay. So when you try to execute this line 53, okay, so it will throw you error. It will throw you an exception. What will be the exception? Any guess? Syntax error. Good. But if I go and execute line number 55, this will execute. Why? I can use only special character that is underscore and I'm using it in my variable. So line number 55 will execute. See. tot underscore sal is equals to 2.3. If I scroll down, so this is the name of my variable and the value is 2.3. Type is float. It's a float type value. Clear? Keep going guys. Don't sit idle. Respond to my questions. Only then you will be engaged. Okay? Focus. All the variables in Python are case sensitive. Let us understand guys. How exactly you can see, the variables are case sensitive. It is not exactly the variables. Python itself is case sensitive. Okay. So if you observe here, age is equals to 100. I'm going to store 100 in a variable age using age. Done. So this is the variable and the value is 100. So clear. It is not against the ground rules. Done. But in the next line, I use the same variable. It is age and I'm storing 89. But what is the difference between age in 58 and age in 60? Age that we have in 58 is in lowercase. Age we have in 60th line is in uppercase. So do you think are they same? No, not at all. Both these, are two different variables. So this is an variable which is in uppercase and this age is in lowercase. So these are two different variables. Okay. So when I say age is equals to 89, if I execute, this will create me one more variable. See, this created me one more variable. They are not same. No. Even if you go to line number 62, is 62 same as 60 or 62 same as 58? 62 is not same as line number 60 or 62 is not same as line number 58. This age that we have is in proper case. This is called proper case. Lower case, upper case, and this is called proper case. What do you mean by proper case? Any idea? Proper case means only the first character will be in upper case followed by rest of the characters in lower case. That is called proper case. Okay. So I'm trying to store 79 in a variable age which is in proper case. This created me one more variable guys. One more variable age. I hope you are getting the point. See, we are trying to understand Python is case sensitive. Okay. And it is always recommended to go with lowercase variables. Better keep all the variables in lowercase. That is highly recommended. Okay. The reason behind why we are recommending to keep the variables in lowercase is, say if you want to use the same variable after 100 lines of code or 200 lines of code. Okay. If you don't use the same variable, you will get errors. Exceptions is what you face. So that is the reason behind it and highly recommended to use only the variables in lowercase. Right? Then in line number 64, will it execute? Yes, it will execute. But this will create me one more variable with the name age in which A and E are in lowercase, G is in uppercase. Okay, so let me do it. So with age, you see 4 variables. All the 4 are different. They are not same. They are not same. Okay, so that is how you can understand Python is case sensitive. You have to maintain the same keys. If not, it will throw you errors. Fine. Let me go to the next ground rule. Keywords cannot be used as variable names. Why? What are these keywords? They are nothing but reserved words. They are nothing but Reserved words. What are these reserved words in Python? These reserved words, they do have a meaning for the language compiler. Okay. So you take any programming language, we'll have some reserved words. So in Python, we also have the reserved words and they are called as keywords. And these keywords cannot be used as variable names. Okay. So what are the variable names that we have in Python are if is a keyword in Python. If is a keyword in Python. Okay. So a keyword, I'm trying to use it as a variable. Let's see whether it works or not. No, it throws me an exception, guys. Why? I have tried using a keyword. I have tried using a keyword as my variable. So it returned me an exception. It returned me an exception. In the same way, while is again an keyword. While is also a keyword. Okay, I am trying to use it as a variable. So let's see what it happens. It will throw us exceptions. Else. Else is also a keyword. What am I doing? I'm trying to use else as a variable. Will it execute? No, it will throw an exception. I have encountered an error, syntax error. Right? Then, in the next line, what am I doing? In the next line, I'm using if. If is a keyword. I know if is a keyword. But apart from if, I just kept it only if? No. I also use some digits. 1, 2, 3. When I use 1, 2, 3 digits, no more if will be a, this will be a keyword. I can use this as a variable. Only if you have if alone, it will be a keyword in Python. But do you have if alone in here? In line number 75? No. So I don't have if alone in this line. I have if 1, 2, 3 as my variable. So will line number 75 execute? Yes. Yes. The if that we have in line number 75 is not a keyword, guys. So this will execute. Let us go and check. Yes. It created the variable. I see the variable. Then underscore while is equals to 34. Line number 77, will it execute? Yes, it will execute. It will execute because if I have while alone, that will be a keyword. But do I have while alone? No. I also have underscore. I know that I can have underscore at the starting position of my variable. So this is accepted and it executes. Line number 77 executes. Keep going, guys. Yes. Okay. I have changed the settings anyways. It executes. If is equals to 45. Line number 79. Will it execute or not? 79. Will it execute? Yes, it will. Why? Only if I have in lower keys, that is considered as keyword. But do I have if in lower keys? No. I have if in upper keys. Okay. So this is not a keyword. This is no more a keyword. So when I execute, I'll not get any exception. It executes and I can see if keyword storing 45. Storing 45. Then Next one. Int is equals to 12.34. Will it execute or not, guys? Any idea? Line number 81. Do you know whether int is a keyword or not? We are not sure, right? Okay, no worries. Int is not a keyword. Okay. So when you execute 81, it will execute. It will execute. It is not an keyword. Okay. I'll tell you how you have to identify whether a given word is keyword or not. Then float is equals to 45. Again, float is not a keyword. Okay. Anyhow, you can observe the color difference. The keywords in Spider by default they will be in a purple or violet color. Okay. So I can clearly understand that float is not a keyword. So this will also execute. This will also execute. Then 85. True is equals to 56. Will this execute? Yes, even this will execute. But if you see, it has thrown me error. The reason behind it is, the reason behind it is, true is a keyword. Here comes the question. Fine, even the color is different, but still it is not executing here. The problem here is, true is a keyword, guys. True in proper case is keyword. This is a keyword. But how do I know whether it is a keyword or not? For that, I'll come up with a trick. Okay. I'll tell you what you are supposed to do. I'll change the case of true. I'll keep the entire alphabets in true to lowercase. Okay. Now, will line number 87 execute? 87. Yes, it will, because no more true in lowercase is a keyword. This is not a keyword. So obviously this will execute. Only true, which is in proper case, is a keyword. Okay. But I have changed the case of T. Job done. Now comes, the process, how we have to identify whether the given word is a keyword or not. For that, we have a module in Python. It is keyword module. It is keyword module. And the modules, packages, whenever you are going to use them, you have to use a keyword. Again, for using a module, for importing a module, for importing a package, you have to use a keyword called import. Import is a keyword and keyword is a module. Okay, I'm importing keyword, done. Then if you say keyword dot kw list, this will return us the list of keywords in Python. This will return us the list of keywords in Python. So for time being, module is a collection of functions, variables, then classes. Just remember this point only enough. This is enough. I'll explain what is module in the coming classes. Okay. So print is a function. Print is a function. Using print function, I'm going to print keyword dot kw list. We know keyword is a module that we have imported. Done. Done. Then what is kw list? Kw list is an attribute. Again, what is an attribute? You'll understand. Okay. So I'm using an attribute from kw keyword using the dot, the hierarchy. Okay. So I'm using them and I'm going to print the list of keywords in Python. So If you see here, these are my keywords that are present in Python, and I cannot use these keywords as variable names. So true is a keyword. I see the true in the list. I see the true. The word true in the list of keywords. False is also a list, it's a keyword. None is a keyword. And is a keyword. As. Then we used if keyword, import keyword. Then we also used while, it's a keyword. Else, it's a keyword. So these list of keywords cannot be used as variable names. That's it. I hope it is clear, guys. Then next to it, the last ground rule of variables. Okay, so the variable names are always recommended to take user friendly names. So if I want to come up with a variable, if it is always recommended to keep user friendly names. Salary of an employee, I want to, say store the salary of an employee. Instead of keeping salary or employee, it's better if you come up with some user friendly names. Sal underscore of underscore an underscore employee is equals to 1.2. See, this will execute because I'm not, you know, against the ground rules. I used only underscore special symbol. I have started with the alphabet. So for sure it will execute. See, in the same way, line number 99, if not, if you want to, if you feel that this is very big, which is not recommended, you can make it very crisp. Employee salary, EMP underscore sal. Okay, so this is what we are recommending you to keep your variables very crisp, very short, concised. Okay, so we'll make it as EMP underscore sal is equals to 1.2. Even this will execute. See, all these variables will be alphabetically arranged, guys. So observe that. Accordingly, you can search your variable. That is one tip that I can give you here, because all the variables that you observe here will be alphabetically arranged. I hope it is making sense. Right. I hope the concept of variables is very clear. And I want every one of you to take as a task. You are supposed to understand the ground rule and come up with at least 5 examples. For each and every ground rule, you have to come up with 5 examples. Okay. So do it as a task for today, and let us switch to the next topic in the sequence. Right. So we have commenting in Python. So within the Python code, you observe comments. You'll be observing the comments. What is the purpose of these comments are? The comments are non-executable lines. When even if you try to execute the comments, they does not get executed. Okay. What is the purpose of comments? Is they help us to improve code readability, guys. Okay. See, if I am actually keeping my .py, okay, the Python script in a file, and if I'm sharing this .py file to one of my colleague, to one of my team member, okay, so for understanding immediately, okay, for going through the line of codes, okay, For the other person, it will be very easy. When I have provided with comments. Okay, and it is also helping us to improve the document the purpose. So before, if I do some XYZ task, I'll mention in the comment. Then explaining the logic or decisions. So that is the purpose of commenting. Whenever you share your code with others, okay, your team members, they can go through your code easily. They can understand your code easily when you have added comments in your code. Okay, even yourself, when you revisit your code after a long time, okay, you may or may not memorize what is the specific task that you have done for. Okay, but when you have added comments for your script, for sure you can go through it immediately, easily. And within comments, there are types, guys. There are two types, single line comments and multi-line comments. There are two types, single line and multi-line. What are single line comments and how do we keep multi-line comments? Single line comments always start with hash symbol, hashtag. Excuse me. So we use hashtag for single line comments. Coming to multi-line comments, we use triple single quotations or triple double quotations. If I want to keep my comment in a single line, I'll use hashtag. If I want to keep my comment in multiple lines, okay, say I have 5 lines of a big comment that I have to mention. So instead of using hash in front of all the 5 lines, I'll start with triple single. I'll keep my comment. See, all the 5 lines of comment I have added and then I'll close it. So this is called multi-line commenting. Okay, so we use triple single or triple double quotations for multiple line commenting. Okay, the purpose of commenting is code reusability. I mean code readability, guys. You can go through the code. Okay, you can understand it immediately if you go through the comments. Right. Next to comments, we have data types. The next topic in our sequence is data types. So I'll be just giving you the overview of data types. Okay, and we'll be understanding data types in the next class. So let us focus. What is the purpose of data types in Python? The purpose of data types is they help us to allocate sufficient amount of memory. Sufficient amount of memory will be allocated within the main memory, guys. Within the main memory that the OS is actually giving us for performing a specific task. These data types help us to allocate sufficient amount of memory. But on what basis? Depending on the data. Depending on the data that we are using. And in Python, we have in total 14 data types. There are 14 data types. These 14 data types are categorized into 6 types. What are the 6 types? Fundamental, sequence category, list category, set category, dict category, and non-type category data types. I repeat, fundamental category data types, sequence category data types, list category data types, set category data types, dict category data types, and non-type category data types. Within these category data types, we have again different data types. Like if you take fundamental category data types, we have int, float, bool, complex. In sequence category data types, we have str, bytes, byte array, range. Coming to list category data types, we have list and tuple. In set category data types, we have set, frozen set. And in dict category data types, we have only one data type, it is dict. And finally, in none type, we have only none. So in total, if you add all these, you'll get 14 data types. And you know, data types is one of the important topic, very important topic in Python. If you understand data types, okay, if you understand the concept of data types, you will be understanding the upcoming concepts. Like you also have operators, then conditional statements, loops, functions. But you know, when your foundations is very strong enough, even the upcoming floors, the ground floor, the first floor, okay. So in this way, if you go to the top, your concepts will be clear. But what are your foundations? Data types. Very important, guys. Okay. So you have to be very focused and don't miss out the sessions from tomorrow. I want everyone to be on time and be active. Okay. So I hope we had a good session today. Let me go back to the starting. Let us quickly recap what we have covered so far. We understood the introduction part, history of Python, the applications, versions, then the Python design, followed by the features of Python. Right? Under features of Python, we have understood all the 13 features. Right? And we understood how to install and setup of Anaconda Navigator. We discussed about the IDEs and we were actually using Spider IDE and we discussed about variables topic. The hands-on was also been done. So what is the next topic in the sequence? It is data types. I have just given you the overview of data types, but from tomorrow, we'll be understanding data types, guys. We'll be understanding the concept. Immediately, we'll be focusing on the hands-on. Okay, that will be, the flow. So every day you'll have one session. Obviously, day 2 will be tomorrow. Right? Yes. So before I end up the session, is the pace good enough or should I increase it? And guys, if you find that the session went well, okay, do hit on the like button and also share across these sessions among your connections. Ask them to learn Python because within 10 days, we are going to understand all the core concepts with NumPy and Pandas, right? So do share among your connections. And if you get any difficulties, any queries, you can use comment section. Within the comment section, you can post your queries. Okay, we'll help out in solving your responses. Okay. Yes, do share across your connections as well. And I want everyone to hit on the like button. It's a kind of encouragement that you're going to give from your side because we have planned a number of sessions in the upcoming days. Okay, as a kind of support from your side, we just need only to, you guys to hit on the like button. Encourage us. Sure, sure. Yeah, we'll be, I'll be increasing my pace from tomorrow as this is the starting day. I have went very slow. Okay. Probably I'll be increasing a bit. Yes. Good. Any technical questions? Guys, from tomorrow be on time. Okay. I want everyone to respond. So guys, the feedback link has been provided. Please provide your genuine feedback before you leave. And do hit on the like button. Yes, the feedback link has been provided. Give your genuine feedback. And if no questions, thank you so much for joining and making the session wonderful.